You're here. I mean, I wasn't sure that you would be here.
Yeah, well, we're sort of short-handed.
I hope I didn't throw you yesterday, Nadine. But it couldn't have come as a surprise. I mean, I've really been out there with you.
You still hate him, don't you?
Who?
Paulie Hartman.
Blake, I don't want to talk about him. Could you just pretend that he's not here?
Okay, I just don't understand.
Blake, for me, please.
Right? Okay. I just don't get it, Ross. I mean, I know he was a bad guy years ago, but ever since he got out of jail, he hasn't done anything wrong.
Blake.
Okay. Just let me finish, and then I promise I will never bring up his name again.
Okay.
Now, you know for sure that he was not the person who broke into your office, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, everything else that you have suspected him of in recent weeks, you haven't been able to prove.
Maybe so. But I am not buying this stuff about him wanting to be my best friend.
No, that's not what he said. He just asked you not to bring up his past to other people. He's trying to put it behind him. Now, it's not really about liking each other. I mean, if he wanted to be your best friend, yes, I would be worried. But he doesn't have to like you. Just respect you. And you don't have to like him either. You just show the man the same respect.
There is something more at work here, okay?
And maybe a lot of that has to come from you.
Come on.
Well, you were the one who said yourself that maybe you thought that you were a bit too hard on him when you prosecuted him years ago. And I just think it would be great if you talked to the man so you could put this behind you. And then the two of you could be in the same room and not be so tense and strange.
All right. Maybe you're right.
Thanks. Listen, I have to go out to the car and grab some papers for this PR freelance job I've got.
A job?
Oh, it's not a big deal. It's just a favor to a friend. I need some quarters from you.
Don't lose him.
I love you. Hey, Paulie. How's my dress going over at Mindy's?
Oh, it should be a beaut. Especially with you in it. Hey, Marla, I just said hello to her. She said it first.
That is not where I came over. I've been thinking, and maybe I have been a little hard on you.
A 13-year prison sentence and a punch in the mouth when I get out? What gives you that first clue?
Look, I've had bad experiences in the past with people that I've sent to prison. They get out, they start harassing me and dogging me.
And you assumed the worst.
I was being careful.
Hit first, ask questions later, huh?
Hey, wait a minute. When I walked in on you there, you were with the person I care most about. And at that time, I thought you were the guy who was breaking into my office. Now I know that's not the case.
And how long have you known? 3, 4 weeks now?
I would like to put this behind us.
Oh, I bet you would, Marler. You're being careful, all right, but not about me. All I asked of you was not to tell everyone in this town about my record. You couldn't wait 5 minutes to blab it all around.
That is not true.
It's close enough. Everybody in this town thinks I'm a dirtbag felon. And now you come to me? After a month of knowing that I wasn't the one who broke into your office? With this feeble apology? Marla, wake up. It's gonna take a lot more than that. You've done a lot of damage to this life that I am trying to put back together.
Somebody asked me to come over here and give you the benefit of the doubt. I can see now that's a mistake. Because you haven't changed. You are the same punk I put away 13 years ago. Except you're wearing nicer suits. Really is nice, boy. Where'd you get the money for it?
I'm sure you know I got a legit job now.
Yeah, freelance sketching with Mindy Lewis. Of course I know. And this diamond that you've been flashing at Nadine, what was that? $5,000, $6,000, $7,000? You know something? I bet if I asked Mindy what she's paying you, none of this would add up at all.
Hello? Have you ever heard of credit?
I don't think you use credit. I think you use cash. I know that you hid that money you stole all those years ago.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do, Paulie. Talking about the suits and the diamonds and the good life. You got your money after all, didn't you, Paulie?
Prove it.
So I saw you talking to Paulie.
Yeah.
Did it go okay?
Not really.
What do you mean?
Because I almost apologized for misjudging him.
And that would be so awful?
Yes. I don't think I did.
Would you like to explain this to me, Counselor?
Not now, Blake, but just do me a favor and steer clear of this guy. He's not a good man.
Okay, I just was curious what he said.
It's not so much what he said, it's what he's done. But until I get some proof, I don't want to talk about it. I guess this is self-service tonight. I'm going to get some coffee. You want any?
No thanks.
Can I have one black too, please?
Yeah, black.
Oh, Ross, I'm sorry. You can let me get this.
No, that's okay. I can see that you had your hands full.
Yeah, well, it's been one of those days, you know.
Oh, anything I can do?
Ross, I don't think there's anything anybody can do. Thanks.
If you need help, you know where to find me.
I thought you left.
We used to have a lot of important things to talk about.
Paulie.
A lifetime, a future.
Paulie, there is no future for us. I can't be with a dishonest person. I won't. I know it's just a game to you all. It's stolen money.
Nadine, I didn't take that money.
Don't tell me you don't have it when I know that you do. No matter what you say, I know that you do. Now, you and Buzz may have talked yourself into believing that this doesn't matter, but it does matter. It matters to me. It has changed everything.
Nadine.
Paulie,
Don't tell me that, all right? Don't lie to my face. I won't be able to talk to you at all.
If we stay here much longer, they're going to charge us room and board.
Oh, no, I gave this number to a client. He's supposed to call me back.
Wheels and meals.
yeah, just a second.
Blake, it's for you.
All righty. Go get him, Tiger.
Hello?
Yes. Thank you.
Nadine.
Paulie, look, I don't have anything else to say. Just put your ring away. I've made up my mind.
You know, Marla, you cost me 13 years of my life, and that's not enough, is it?
Paulie, you got what you deserved.
When are you going to be satisfied?
I didn't do anything to you. You did it to yourself.
That's how you see it.
That's how it is. Now listen, my friend, I have nothing to apologize for, and I have nothing more to say to you. We're through with excuses. That is until you mess up again. And when you do, I'm gonna put you away for good.
To the darkness, to the dawn, hold on. And if we lose our way, we'll find each other.
One of these days, you're gonna find out what it's like to lose someone you care about, counselor. One of these days.
I'm back.
Ross! Hey, listen, you know, if you have a minute.
Sorry, actually, I really don't.
Oh, okay. Hey, it's no problem. Look, I'll just call you. It was about that custody case.
Yes, I figured. Sid, I think that we have a conflict of interest here.
A conflict of interest. Why?
I'm representing the birth mother, Bridget Reardon.
How could you?
So are you going to shoot me, or do I get a chance to explain?
Don't worry, I don't have a gun tonight.
That's good to hear. I took Bridget Reardon's case, and I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. I was looking for a good time to do it. I assure you tonight was not going to be it, but now you know.
How could you even consider taking Bridget's case? This involves me, Ross. This involves my whole family. And you specifically told me that you were going to stay away from anything that had to do with this case.
I fully intended to do exactly that until Bridget came along and...
Cried on your shoulder.
No. Look, she has a right to be represented too, Blake.
So does my father. Peter is his grandson. He's my nephew, Ross. But you wouldn't represent our side if your life depended upon it. Let me
Blake.
tell you something, counselor. Bridget may be the birth mother in this case, but my family's the one that suffered the most in this mess. So you tell me, do I have a right to be mad that you're representing Bridget?
Believe me, I was going to tell you a dozen different times, but I kept on stalling. We haven't had a fight in so long, and it's been very nice.
Yes, it has. But this is so important to me, Ross.
I know. I plead guilty to gross procrastination.
And that little boy is my nephew. He's my flesh and blood. I haven't even been allowed to touch him. Wait a minute, Ross. We can't get married until after this is over, right?
Why not? What are you talking about?
Well, you can't go to court and against my father when you're married to me. Talk about conflict of interest.
Oh, no, honey, for the time being, I'm on the same side as your father.
Explain that, please.
This conference next week has nothing to do with Bridget Reardon legally. We're just there as observers. The conference is about Vanessa and Billy's adoption of little Peter and whether it's legal and valid, and your father maintains that it's not.
So what happens if he wins?
Custody of Peter becomes an open issue, and the birth parents could very well get the child back.
Parents, Bridget and Hart?
I represent Bridget, but Hart would have the same rights as any birth father.
So you want my father to win next week?
In a way, yes, I do, because it's better for Bridget.
This law is a very strange and weird thing.
So are you.
So what do you think? Do I look all right?
Yeah, you look fine.
Well, do you think I should go put a dress on?
No. Bridget, you're not on trial. This is just an informal hearing, a conference with the judge, and all the focus can be on Roger and Vanessa.
But they're talking about my baby.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're allowed to be there as interested parties.
Interested party. Look, don't you understand? Peter's the most important thing in the world to me, Ross.
I know. That's just a legal... Well, good morning. A little surprised to see you. I thought you'd be with Vanessa.
Couldn't do it. I couldn't go there. I don't know what I'm doing here either. To tell you the truth, I don't know where I belong today.
Okay, we have to get going, Bridget. I'll bring the car.
Okay.
I wish I could go with you. I can't. I mean, it's one thing for my family to know I'm on your side, for them to actually see me sitting next to you at the conference.
I understand, honestly. Tell him it's okay.
No, it's not.
Ross says we're just going as an interested party and that the judge isn't even going to ask me any questions or anything, so... Hey, how do I look?
You know how much I admire you? How important you are to me? How much you make me smile? I just wish I could make you smile.
Oh, there you go. You just did. I'm gonna go.
Good luck.
Bridget, I sure am glad to see you here. I'm glad that you're in my corner.
The only corner I'm in is Peter's.
Well, I'm sure that everyone here has Peter's best interests at heart.
Roger, why don't you just leave her alone, all right?
I'm sure you've informed your client that my overturning this adoption is to her advantage. Like it or not, Bridget, we're on the same side.
The judge is ready for you now.
Mr. Thorpe, in this petition to invalidate the adoption, you claim that your son, who is the biological father of the child, never consented to the adoption.
That's right, Your Honor. As a matter of fact, he was never told that he had a child.
And your client is not disputing that fact.
No, Your Honor, but there are mitigating circumstances.
I appreciate that, Counselor. However, first I want to be sure that everyone understands how the law reads. It is very clear. The child cannot be adopted without the consent of both biological parents, unless due process is provided to the non-consenting parent. I'd also like you all to know that I serve as a judge in family court by choice. I have asked for this appointment because I believe that the cases we handle here are of extreme significance. So, although this is an informal setting, I am keenly aware of the importance of this issue to each of you. Now, Mr. Dickerson, let us begin to hear about those circumstances.
Thank you, Your Honor. At the time that my client and her husband adopted their son, they were told by the birth mother that she didn't know who the biological father was. And they believed her. I mean, there was no reason not to, so they signed the adoption papers in good faith.
Mr. Lewis, when you and your wife first
Excuse me, Your Honor. This is my client's brother-in-law. It's Josh Lewis. My client and her husband are getting a divorce.
He also just happens to be in prison, Your Honor.
I object.
Allow me to remind you, Counselor, that this is not a trial.
Sorry, Your Honor. Force of habit. Mr. Lewis had some problems. And that is why my client is getting a divorce. You see, she wants to make sure that she provides a loving and safe environment for her son. That is her main objective, and it has been from the day she adopted him. I mean, you see, Peter Lewis is surrounded by a big, loving, very, very close family.
We have to just sit here and listen to him blather on like this?
Just hold on.
Peter's Uncle Josh and his cousins Mara and Shane, they live in the family home, which is located on several acres, which provides more than enough space for a young, active boy to play.
This isn't fair.
You're being asked to tear that child away from the only family that he's ever known. And by whom? A man who has no home of his own? A man who's living with a woman that he is not married to, and is petitioning on behalf of a son who's run away from him.
Your Honor, I must object.
Sit down, Counselor. You'll have your chance.
Yes, Your Honor.
Roger Thorpe has also been known to have strange and obsessive relationships with children. Yes, and we believe that his petition is a maneuver to gain access to yet another child.
That is a damn lie.
That is a very serious accusation, Counselor. Do you have any proof?
Well, Your Honor, at the moment.
Your Honor, may I take a moment to talk to our lawyer?
Yes, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you.
Excuse us.
It's time to bring in Tangi.
Judge, I don't think that's a good idea.
I think it is a good idea. She can tell that judge what Roger Thorpe is really like. Let's bring her in.
Your Honor, there's a young lady that's in the corridor who's spent a couple of years of her life being raised by Mr. Thorpe.
And I really object, Your Honor.
You may object all you like. I want to talk with this woman. We'll take a 5-minute break.
I thought we agreed that we weren't going to involve Tangi in this.
I think we have to. We've got to throw everything we can at this judge. Come on.
What happened?
Has the judge made a decision already?
No, but I think it's going pretty well.
Sweetheart. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Well, we're family, aren't we?
We always come through for one another. You did for me.
Well,
what are you talking about?
he's the same guy who was up against me when I was...
Oh, well, I didn't want your wedding to be disrupted anymore. I know. And I love you for that.
But, Nick gave me my ring this morning.
Oh, good. So you can have this back now. Why don't you keep it?
I'll save it for you.
It's time to go back in now.
Have you talked to Tangi?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just... Tangi? I know that this might be really difficult for you, but it's important to us. I mean, we need somebody who can explain what it was like to live with Roger.
Well, see, I really don't think that...
It's gonna be fine. I'll be in here with you.
I know this is a difficult subject for you to talk about, Miss Hill, but the judge needs to know about your experiences with Roger Thorpe. How long did you live with him?
2 years.
Starting when you were how old?
15.
I'm sorry, Miss Hill, I didn't hear that.
When I was 15.
So, Roger Thorpe was basically a stranger to you.
I had seen him a few times.
Did you want to live with him?
No. I wanted to live with my parents. But they were forced to leave me with Roger.
Did you know anything about this?
What do you mean, forced?
My parents went to prison, but I didn't know that at the time.
Prison? And who told you that story?
My mother. I recently saw my mother. She said that she thought she was doing what was best for me.
I see. So, your mother, in thinking that she was doing what was best for her daughter, entrusted you to him.
Yes.
Were you frightened?
Yes.
Yeah, because you thought that you didn't understand why you were being torn away from your parents. And because you believed that Roger Thorpe had more than just paternal instincts toward you.
I thought so, yes.
What made you think that, Miss Hill?
The way he looked at me.
But it was more than that, wasn't it? He came to your room at night.
Well...
Are you saying Mr. Thorpe went into your bedroom?
No. He did not come in my room. He came to my door. He stood outside my bedroom door almost every night.
And again, that frightened you?
Yes.
What did Roger Thorpe call you, Tangi?
Chrissy. He called me Chrissy.
Chrissy. It's Roger Thorpe's daughter, known as Blake, whom he had been separated from. Now, would you say that while you lived with them, that you felt alone? Scared? Maybe a little uncertain about your own identity?
Your Honor, Your Honor.
I would like to hear that, Mr. Flynn, please.
I was young, and I was confused.
You must have been terrified.
What kind of contact did you have with the outside world, Miss Hill?
I went to school, private school.
Did you tell anyone there that you were frightened?
No. Roger knew all of my instructors, the headmistress. He picked me up from school. He asked how I was.
What about friends?
I had some, not many. I had girlfriends in ballet class. I had a friend who was an art instructor who was a college student.
Let me ask you this, Miss Hill. Would you, in retrospect, now that you're an adult and able with a certain amount of objectivity to look back on your time with Mr. Thorpe, would you characterize his behavior toward you as obsessive or in any way abnormal? Miss Hill, I want the truth.
I thought so at the time.
I'm asking you what you believe now.
I'm not sure.
Excuse me, Miss Hill, I did not hear that.
In light of what I know now, I think that he was just concerned about me.
Your Honor, I'd like to request a recess. I need to talk to you and Counselor Flynn.
We'd like the conference to continue, Your Honor.
Does any of this make a difference? In view of the circumstances, we will take a short break. Counselors, You will stay here with me, please?
I'm now more convinced than ever we're going to win this.
All right, but just be sure you put Tangy Hill on your Christmas list.
It's going good. I just need to speak to Tangy. Tangy, I can't tell you how grateful I am.
Well, I didn't have any intention of wanting to hurt the Lewises.
Well, I know that.
I just didn't want to lie.
Thank you.
You found my mother for me. Just like you said you would. I owed you.
I'm glad you had a chance to see her.
So am I. I just didn't know that fighting her would mean losing all my friends.
It's not true. I'm your friend. I've always been your friend.
I just...
We have to talk.
I really need some fresh
Now,
air.
listen to me.
Look, I don't want to hear it, okay? I just don't want to hear it.
Oh, come on, don't look so worried. I mean, hey, a witness comes up with something from out of left field, so you regroup, which I've done. I just talked to the judge.
What did she say? What did she say about Tangi's testimony?
No, forget about Miss Hill. What I talked to the judge about was allowing the rest of the family into the conference room.
Now you're talking sense.
Yes, well, with a little gentle persuasion, I was able to convince the judge that Peter's present environment, which includes his family, should also be considered.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's no problem. So, are we ready to go back inside? Look like a Norman Rockwell painting? Come on, let's do it. This way.
Thank you.
All right. Very good to your grandfathers, uncle. What about your brother?
Oh, yeah. He'll be here.
It's unusual in this day and age to see such a close-knit family. Mr. Lewis Sr.
Just call me HB, darling. Oh, I beg your pardon. I mean your honor.
Spent a lot of time with your grandson, Mr. Lewis.
Petey? Oh, yeah. We both do, Henry and me.
I can't compete with this.
Look, all the grandfathers in the world can't compete with one birth father.
But if the adoption stands, I'm not going to be able to claim anything.
Would you do something? It sounds like the judge is getting ready to be adopted by the Lewises.
Hang on, we're just getting started.
Jess, I want you to tear him apart.
That's what you pay me the big bucks for, Roger.
And who is Dylan?
Well, he was going to be here, Your Honor, but...
I'm here. Well, I wasn't gonna come, but I owe it to you. To all of you.
Is this the brother we've been waiting for?
Dylan Lewis, Your Honor.
Would you like to sit down with your family?
I can't do that. I love my family very much, but I'm here as an observer and to be with my friend Bridget Reardon.
What is he doing? What is he doing?
I don't know.
Oh, this is too priceless for watching the Lewis family self-destruct before our very eyes. First Tangy, and now Dylan. Couldn't have planned this better myself.
It'll help if you show a little more concern. You don't want to give the judge the impression.
Your Honor, could we have a few minutes?
With all due respect, Your Honor, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Dickerson, is just dragging out the process.
My client only wants an opportunity to speak with her stepson in private.
Of course she does. Well, obviously, the Lewis family isn't as loving and as united as we've been led to believe.
Just 5 minutes, Your Honor.
It seems to me that Mr. Lewis has been pretty clear about his feelings, and he is free to sit wherever he chooses.
What does he think this is going to accomplish?
Judge Bellman, may I say something?
Of course.
Thank you. The last couple of months have seen an enormous upheaval in my family. As you know, my husband, Billy Lewis, is in prison, and I have very recently made the decision to end the marriage because I have felt that his alcoholism is going to have a very bad effect on our son, Peter. And I feel that my decision has devastated members of my family, especially Dylan. He's my husband's oldest boy. And he idolizes his father, and I believe that whether he's fully aware of it or not, he's extremely angry at me for not standing by my husband.
Vanessa.
Just... Would you please let me finish? I don't blame him. In fact, I think I empathize with his need to be needed. And I don't blame Bridget Reardon for needing him. But I don't want things to get confused here. And I don't want the future of an innocent child decided because two very young, very lonely people are infatuated with each other. Thank you. Do you think what you're doing here? This is your little
Could I say something, Your Honor?
Dylan. Yes, of course.
No, whatever you think my motive is, it's not because I'm mad at you or the family. I love the family. But for Bridget not even to be able to see her own son, can't you see?
Your Honor, sorry, may I say something,
Of
please?
course you may, Miss Reardon. This is an informal meeting.
Okay, at the time of the adoption, I didn't think I would be able to see Peter. I thought it would just be too hard for me. I thought I would be too sad for that. And then after a while, I started to really miss him. I mean, it hurt. I had to see him, and I talked to Billy and Vanessa about it, and they said that it would be okay for me to come and visit him whenever I wanted to, and that I could be a part of his life.
Yes, but it wasn't working out. Mrs. Lewis, allow her to finish, please.
Billy, Vanessa's husband, still doesn't have a problem with me continuing to see Peter. Look, at the time of the adoption, he gave me his word, and I trusted that word, and now she's telling me that I can't...
Hey, look, Vanessa is not the villain here, all right? No, I'm not going to take it easy. She has been an extraordinary mother to that child. Judge, look, you don't have to believe me on this, all right? You come on over to our house anytime you want, day or night. 1 o'clock in the morning, come on over. You're going to see her taking care of that little boy after he's woken up from a nightmare. You come over at 1 in the afternoon, you'll see her taking care of him then, juggling clients from Lewis Oil on one hand and making his lunch with the other. Just come over whenever you want, okay?
Mr. Lewis, I appreciate your feelings, but believe me, that is not necessary.
I'm sorry.
No, thanks. Thanks.
Emotions always run high when the custody of a child is at stake. And while we are not at the point of deciding that, we all realize that it is a very real possibility should Mr. Thorpe's petition be successful. That is what makes situations like this so extremely difficult.
If you'll forgive me, Your Honor, I think that there's more at stake here than just emotion. By your own admission, what we're talking about and discussing here is whether or not the adoption is legal. Now, my client and I firmly believe it is not.
And you will have ample opportunity to argue that point, Counselor.
Thank you.
For the moment, I think I now have a very good feeling about the way the Lewis family feels about this matter. I would like to take a break, come back in a few minutes, and hear your side, Mr. Thorpe.
You can say anything.
Okay, I mean,
Your Honor, a lot has been said today about family. But there are two people who are actually related to Peter. Bridget Reardon, his mother, and his grandfather, my client, Roger Thorpe. Mr. Thorpe is filing this petition to invalidate this adoption in the absence of his son, Hart Jessup, the biological father.
And I must say I'm still a little curious about that. If the father of the child is so interested in reclaiming his parental rights, why isn't he here, filing in his own behalf?
Your Honor, my son isn't present because I haven't been able to locate him. In fact, he doesn't know about these proceedings.
I see. Well, then the obvious question, Mr. Thorpe, how can you be sure he's even interested in overturning this adoption?
If I may, Your Honor, we intend to prove that there was a conspiracy to withhold this information from Hart Jessup. It's our contention that this wasn't a legal adoption, since Hart never knew that he was his father. or he was the father, rather, how could he give his consent? Besides, there was no due process.
Conspiracy thing. I mean, come on.
Flynn's just doing what I would do if I were in his position. I mean, he's hammering
What
away at the
efforts
law.
did you make to find your son, Mr.
Arguing
Thorpe?
about due process
Your Honor,
instead of worrying about poor
I
Peter.
used every means at my disposal. But the Lewis family placed so many obstacles in my path, up to and including the fact that Billy Lewis tried to kill me to keep me from knowing about the baby. And his brother and his wife, once they found out where my son was, tried to keep me from finding him by intercepting my mail.
Oh, come on, Roger. Why don't you tell her the whole story? No, I'm sorry. I just can't stand here while he distorts the truth. Roger Thorpe's son wants nothing to do with him. Why don't you tell him how hard he slid out of town the minute he found out you were looking for him?
No! Mr. Lewis, this is an informal hearing, and I am allowing a great deal of leeway here. However, I must now ask you to please control yourself.
I tell you what, Josh, why don't you just go outside, all right? Cool down.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Not accepted.
Roger's lying through his teeth.
I know that. Just let me handle that.
I'm sorry.
Josh.
Roger's telling the truth. I saw the letter that Josh forged just before Hart ran off again.
I don't want to get into that. I want to save it for our fight with Roger.
Please continue, Mr. Thorpe.
Thank you, Your Honor. I love my family. And though we're not as large as the Lewises, I assure you we cherish our children every bit as much as they cherish theirs, I'm sure. I'm bringing this petition because my son was never told that he helped bring a child into this world. He was tricked, he was lied to, and he is still out there somewhere, not knowing right now. My son is a very responsible young man, Your Honor, and I can tell you beyond any shadow of a doubt that he would want to participate in his son's life. He would demand to participate in his son's life. But because of all the lies and all the interference of this family, he is unaware of his child's existence, and that is why I'm here, bringing this situation to the court's attention. Because I feel that I have to ask in my son's name that this injustice be reversed.
I can certainly understand your position, Mr. Thorpe, and you state it most eloquently. However, there is one question I want to ask. Since your son is not here, what do you envision happening to this baby should the adoption be reversed? You have thought about that, haven't you? Because when all is said and done legally, this is the life of a child we're talking about.
Yes, Your Honor. I certainly have thought about very little else since I filed this petition, and I would be willing to accept custody if this adoption were overturned.
All alone, Mr. Thorpe?
Well, with my wife. I mean, my ex-wife, Holly Lindsay, she's agreed to help.
I see. I have to be candid with you, Mr. Thorpe. I would have some reservations about awarding you custody of the child at this time if the adoption were to be set aside.
That's good.
Well, the child's biological mother is right here, and I'm sure she'd be willing to accept temporary custody until my son can be found and some more permanent arrangement could be made.
Mr. Thorpe, the custody of child is not like parking a car. You don't simply drop the child off at a short-term meter because you can't find a parking lot. Miss Reardon, what is your opinion on this?
Your Honor, my client is not prepared to accept any joint custody arrangement.
I see. Well, if anybody else has anything? All right, if you'll all give me a few minutes to review my notes, I'll be back to you with a decision.
At least there's a chance here that we'll work this thing out. I think the judge is on our side.
He had his
schedule, so here's what you have to do. I want you to go to my office and get Bridget's other file and bring it to the courthouse as soon as possible. I'm not going to have that long to pull this off.
Pull what off?
You'll find out when you get here. Just hurry it up, okay?
I'm on my way. Hey, Stavros, I'm gonna have to leave for a minute. I'll be back, a few minutes. I'll be back.
Thank you for joining us, counsel.
I apologize for the delay, Your Honor.
I've gone over Mr. Thorpe's petition to invalidate Peter Lewis' adoption, and I have given it much thought, which I will share with you in a moment. But first, I'd like to preface it with a few observations. I will confess that since the birth father is not here, I was initially prepared to find Mr. Thorpe's case without standing and to allow the adoption to remain as is. However, counsel's argument regarding possible collusion on the part of the Lewis family to keep knowledge of the child from the father raises many more questions than can properly be answered in the parameters of this meeting. Furthermore, though it may be legally premature, I am very concerned about the final placement of Peter. If this adoption is overturned, this little boy's life could become the subject of a complicated, lengthy, and I dare say ugly free-for-all. And I very much want to avoid that. Taking all of this into account, I have decided to postpone a final judgment on Mr. Thorpe's petition until I have had more time to study this case.
Is that it?
Your Honor, we were led to expect that there would be a ruling today.
I don't understand how you can expect anybody to go on with their life under these circumstances.
I sympathize with the way you must be feeling, Mrs. Lewis. However, I must tell you, if I were forced to make this decision right now, I would have to recognize that regardless of the character or intentions of everybody involved, the legality of this adoption is very much in question.
Go for it.
Your Honor, since you've already recognized that this adoption was based on falsehoods, isn't that enough to rule that their claim is null and void?
It might be. On the other hand, Mr. Thorpe has failed to demonstrate any justifiable reason why this child should be taken from his home and allowed to flounder in the system until his father, who may or may not even want him, shows up.
This, Ross. I mean, what difference does any of this make to us?
Well, it'll make a lot more difference if David gets here with what I need.
So, in the interests and the well-being of the child, I order that Peter Lewis remain in the custody of the adoptive parent, Vanessa Lewis. However, the grandfather, Roger Thorpe, will be granted regular supervised visits until a final decision is reached.
Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Marler?
I understand that my client and I are here as interested observers. But if you will bear with us for a few moments, I'm waiting for my assistant to bring over some papers which could have a significant influence on your decision.
If counsel has something to say, I suggest he say it.
What are you going to do?
I'll break into song if I have to.
Oh, you better do it quick. She doesn't look very happy.
Are you ready, Mr. Marler?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, these are the papers that I've been waiting for. Thank you very much, David. I prepared an argument on behalf of my client, Bridget Reardon, whereby she revokes her consent to adoption so that Peter can be returned to his biological mother.
They certainly do seem to be in order, and of course it will make a significant difference. Although I could wish that counsel had not waited until the 11th hour.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I'll consider this while I am considering Mr. Thorpe's petition, and I will let you know.
Thank you.
This is terrible.
It's gonna be all right. I would just like to explain a few things.
This is about Dinah, isn't it?
For heaven's sake.
Oh, you
no,
have
Vanessa.
found the perfect way to pay me back.
to make me feel what it's like to lose a child.
I certainly know how that feels, yes, and I can empathize with Bridget. But I am doing this to help her, not to punish you. Oh, Vanessa, come on. This is a kid we're dealing with, a kid who is coerced into giving up her baby.
What?
She got no advice whatsoever,
That's
legal or
not
otherwise,
true.
and she deserves to have her story told.
Oh, yeah? What about me? What do I deserve, huh? I already know what it feels like to lose a child. Do you really think that I didn't lie awake at night and think that I'd made a mistake about Dinah? You really think that I didn't feel like I wanted to take her back and hold her in my arms? But the point is, Ross, I made a decision about what was best for my baby.
And not for yourself. Yes, I know. I've heard this before.
Oh, well, you're gonna hear it again. Point is, I stuck to my decision.
Yeah, but Vanessa, you see, if you had changed your mind...
But I didn't!
Yes, but...
I didn't change my mind!
If you had changed your mind, you two would have had a case.
Well, I have a case now. And I'm gonna win. And you're not gonna take another child away from me, Ross.
I'm sorry this is causing you so much pain, but if you think about it, you realize that you're bringing this all on yourself.
How? How? Have I been a bad mother? Have I been a bad friend?
No, but I know
Have
you.
I
When
been
you
the
get
world's
under
worst?
duress, you start putting up the walls. You shut people out just like you did to me all those years ago, and now you're doing it to Bridget. Now, look, you can look all around for people to blame this on. But the fact is, when you told Bridget she could no longer see Peter, you broke the agreement that you and Billy had made with her. And now she has to rethink everything.
Is that what she told you?
Yes.
Well, I guess I made a mistake. I never said I was perfect.
None of us are. We all make mistakes, don't we?
Yeah. Just that some of us are lucky enough to have friends who stand by us when we do. Why don't you go? I don't want to humiliate myself.
I'm going, but I'm not going to let you turn this around. I am doing this to support Bridget, not Roger. And you heard the judge this afternoon. Without Hart in the picture, without the father of the baby, Roger doesn't have much standing at all.
You are crazy, Ross. Don't you know, Roger, he will never give up trying to have control of that little boy's life. Never. And I am strong enough to fight him, but Bridget is not. Now, if Roger succeeds in getting that petition the way he wants it, my little boy's life is up for grabs for anybody. And I know you think that Bridget should have Peter, but she might not. That's the point. And it would be a win for Roger, not for Bridget.
Good night.
Ed, wait. I'm sorry. Michelle told me that you'd walked over to my house, but why didn't you come on in?
I didn't want to make her feel like a baby, so...
Yeah, sure. Look, I am capable of putting my feelings aside, my pride aside. I do realize that the only important thing right now is Peter.
You came all the way over here to tell me that? I know that, Vanessa.
No, I came to ask for your help. Look, Ross came over to the house tonight, and he said that the only reason that Bridget is suing for custody is that I didn't allow her to come and visit Peter. Do you know? Is that right? Is that so?
You're going to have to ask Bridget.
I'm asking you.
You're going to have to understand that I am not in on a lot of this. I mean, for reasons I don't understand, I don't know everything. People aren't telling me everything. But I would suggest that if Ross says this is the way it is, then this is the way it is.
Well, you see, it's very important because, I mean, if I can persuade Bridget to come back and start visiting Peter again, maybe she would drop the custody suit. I mean, can you help me?
Hi. Sorry to interrupt.
I think you're just saving us from having a stupid argument.
Oh, good.
We're on the same side, Bridget.
I just came from Vanessa's, and I don't think she feels that way.
Oh, what'd you expect?
I don't know. In fact, I don't know what I'd do if I were in her shoes.
We're not going to sit around here feeling sorry for Vanessa, are we?
No, we're not.
I brought this over to discuss a few things with you, but it's getting late, so why don't you just give it a read and go to bed?
Okay, wait. Roger was by just a little while ago.
Why? What did he say to you?
Well, he blew a lot of smoke, but the basic deal was that if I would allow him to be a real grandparent to Peter, then he would give up filing for custody. I mean, and he made it sound like I really needed him in order to do
Well,
it.
he's lying about that. You don't have to deal with him. You don't have to promise him anything, certainly.
You really think I have a chance just by myself?
Yes, Bridget, I do. Read this before you go to bed. It'll put you to sleep.
Okay.
Good night. Call you tomorrow.
Good night.